Part 1, Chapter 1A of The Adventures of Jimmie Dale. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please go to LibriVox.org. The Adventures of Jimmie Dale by Frank L. Packard. Reading by Maire Rhode. Part 1, The Man in the Case. Chapter 1A, The Gray Seal. Among New York's fashionable and ultra-exclusive clubs, the St. James stood an acknowledged leader. More men perhaps cast an envious eye at its portals, of modest and unassuming taste, as they passed by on Fifth Avenue, than they did at any other club upon the long list that the city boasts. True, there were more expensive clubs upon whose membership rolls scintillated more stars of New York's social set. But the St. James was distinctive. It guaranteed a man, so to speak, that is, it guaranteed a man to be innately a gentleman. It required money, it is true, to keep up one's membership, but there were many members who were not wealthy, as wealth is measured nowadays. There were many, even, who were pressed sometimes to meet their dues and their house accounts, but the accounts were invariably promptly paid. No man once in could ever afford, or ever have the desire, to resign from the St. James Club. Its membership was cosmopolitan. Men of every walk in life passed in and out of its doors, professional men and businessmen, physicians, artists, merchants, authors, engineers, each stamped with the hallmark of the St. James, an innate gentleman. To receive a 2 weeks out-of-town visitor's card to the St. James was something to speak about, and men from Chicago, St. Louis, or San Francisco spoke of it with a sort of holier-than-thou air to fellow members of their own exclusive clubs at home again. Is there any doubt that Jimmie Dale was a gentleman, an innate gentleman? Jimmie Dale's father had been a member of the St. James Club, and one of the largest safe manufacturers of the United States, a prosperous, wealthy man, and at Jimmie Dale's birth he had proposed his son's name for membership. It took some time to get into the St. James. There was a long waiting list that neither money, influence, nor pull could alter by so much as one iota. Men proposed their sons' names for membership when they were born as religiously as they entered them upon the city's birth register. At 21, Jimmie Dale was elected to membership, and incidentally that same year graduated from Harvard. It was Mr. Dale's desire that his son should enter the business and learn it from the ground up, and Jimmie Dale, for 4 years thereafter, had followed his father's wishes. Then his father died. Jimmie Dale had leanings toward more artistic pursuits than business. He was credited with sketching a little, writing a little, and he was credited with having received a very snug amount from the combine to which he sold out his safe manufacturing interests. He lived a bachelor life. His mother had been dead many years, in the house that his father had left him on Riverside Drive, kept a car or two, and enough servants to run his menage smoothly, and serve a dinner exquisitely when he felt hospitably inclined. Could there be any doubt that Jimmie Dale was innately a gentleman? It was evening, and Jimmie Dale sat at a small table in the corner of the St. James Club dining-room. Opposite him sat Herman Carruthers, a young man of his own age, about 26, a leading figure in the newspaper world, whose rise from reporter to managing editor of the morning news Argus, within the short space of a few years, had been almost meteoric. They were at coffee and cigars, and Jimmie Dale was leaning back in his chair, his dark eyes fixed interestedly on his guest. Carruthers, intently engaged in trimming his cigar ash on the edge of the Limoges china saucer of his coffee set, looked up with an abrupt laugh. "No, I wouldn't care to go on record as being an advocate of crime," he said whimsically. "That would never do. But I don't mind admitting quite privately that it's been a positive regret to me that he has gone." "Made too good copy to lose, I suppose," suggested Jimmie Dale quizzically. "Too bad, too, after working up a theatrical
Sample complete. Ready to continue?